I wanted to go back to something, and I'm probably gonna put this at the beginning of part 2, and this would have been more suited for part 1, but unfortunately that video's already out. I can't go back and edit it. So hopefully if you're planning on doing this and you're watching as many videos as possible when it comes to this swap, hopefully you're watching all the videos before you actually start tearing into it. Anyways, so I think it's actually doable to remove the valve body without having to remove all of these extra bolts. And let me show you what I mean. If you look at the bottom of this, you see on this side there's nothing that needs to be bolted down here, but once you start going like let's start on this side. So here's the bell housing. Okay, let's start with this corner one. I know for a fact that these two right here, there's actually, yeah. So this one, for sure, you would need to take out. The one right here, I believe. Let's see. Yep, this guy right here. So it's the one that's like directly next to, this is one of the ones that holds the filter in place. So definitely this one, that one, this one, and if we keep lifting this, definitely it looks like these two right here. So you would skip one and then you would do these two right here. There's a little spring right there. So there's two there, and then definitely this guy, which is so these three, right? The next guy over. It looks like definitely this guy right here, and then this guy right here, and the one next to it. And you might have to go back and watch this a couple times just to get what I'm saying, and then from there, nothing here. We could have left all of these in if we wanted to, and then now we work our way down this way. Same deal, there's nothing here until you get to here. So the next one would be this guy right here, the one after this corner. So this is the back now of the transmission. So we will skip all of these here, and this guy definitely. Let's see. I have to switch hands here. So from here we said. So it looks like this guy, this guy. So this guy, this guy. And then it looks like these two. So this one right here and that one right there. And then from there, you see there's nothing all the way until you get to over here in this corner. Let me make sure I'm catching this correctly. So from here, we don't have anything until this guy in this corner. Okay. And this one's between, I guess if you want to orient yourself where this is, what this stuff is, or between the nut and that nut. So right here in the corner. Definitely that one. So these two, and then we're back to the beginning where we started. So really all the ones that need to come out from the actual transmission are all these outer ones that I just showed you. A lot of these middle ones, you don't need to take them off. Save yourself the trouble and the headache of doing it. I thought maybe they were holding in the TCM, And no, the TCM is being held in by a couple Allen bolts at the top. There's nothing that's threaded underneath. So those two have nothing to do with each other. So that would have been a lot easier, not taking out all those bolts. But anyways, hopefully that helps you. If it does, please let me know. And let's get to part 2 of the VR30 transmission swap. Hey YouTube, welcome back to part 2 of the VR30 transmission swap on the G37. So this stuff just came in. Let's not waste any time and let's get unwrapping. So here's all right, so anyways, I got this from eBay. It's from a company called G+. I will put their store and maybe the link to one of these in the description. So this is a 30-row oil cooler. It's universal. It should have the thread that I need. If not, so I got 2 of them. I got one for the transmission and one for the engine oil. I'm gonna replace the cheap one that I had in there, which I did a video on. That thing's already leaking from here somewhere, from the sandwich plate. This one just looks like much better quality. The other one just looked very rough, like it just wasn't machined correctly. But this is like really nice, really top-notch looking sandwich plate, 30-row oil cooler. And then we have the hoses with the fittings. Like everything just looks and feels like better quality. Again, this is a recommendation from Alvin from the Infiniti Brothers, and I will put that in the description. Let's unbox that. Gee, I wonder what that is. There it is, nice and shiny. This is a custom one-piece aluminum Driveshaft from the Driveshaft shop. Ooh, try to say that fast 10 times. So obviously this one's supposed to be a little bit shorter. Than the OEM one. It definitely does look a little bit, because don't forget that the VR transmission is, I want to say, a half-inch longer than the one off of the G37. But anyways, I think this is for a coupe, because the coupe one's shorter. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this thing fits. But I mean, look at this thing. It's like top quality welds. I've known of the Driveshaft shop for like many years, so I know they've been around for a long time. They know what they're doing. So I don't expect this thing to ever break. I don't know what the rating is. If you go boost it, you would probably have to contact them, but this should be able to handle anything I throw at it with the naturally aspirated motor. They send me new hardware, new bolts, and I can't remember what this thing's called, but it looks like it's a one piece, and that's the piece that connects here. Bolts up to here. which is a little thinner than this. But anyways, the whole thing's supposed to, this is what Alvin from the Infiniti Brothers told me I needed, so we'll see. If it doesn't fit, man, it's on you. Nah, I'm just kidding, man. All right, let's put a notch on the bell housing here, and let's get this thing in the car already. Let's do it. Wait. Before we start, I'm curious. How much lighter is that one compared to this one? Scales out, let's find out. Again, OEM one. 29.6. Now the one from the Driveshaft shop. 14.8. So that's about 14, roughly 14 pounds. I don't know. You do the math. So that's pretty good as far as rotational mass, getting rid of rotational mass. Not only that, getting rid of this joint here, which adds another place where you can lose power between here and here. This one straight piece. So, damn, that's pretty good. All right, now let's get to work. So the idea is to come in with the side angle grinder here, make a couple slits all the way to the back, and then come in with the drill, and then just knock out the pieces. And after that, I gotta find a way to clean that up. Oh man, so the transmission's bolted up. I got the 8 17mm bolts to go in for the 4 at the bottom that are 14mm, I believe. Yes, 14mm. The only one that would line up was this guy right here. All the other ones, no way. Got the torque converter bolts back in, and I'm getting ready to go look up some torque specs, because I've gotten as tight as I feel comfortable. I do not want to end up snapping one of those, because then that means the whole thing has to come out, and oh man, what a nightmare that's going to be. Same for all the other bolts, the other 17mm bolts. I'm going to look up the torque specs on those, but I mean, it's in, the starter's back in, so I know that lines up. Let me get out of here real quick. That transmission was a pain in the butt to get it back up on the transmission jack. I had to get my lady out here to help me out, because I was not doing that by myself. So I was like, girl, you better get your butt in here and help me out, because if you don't, what? No, babe. No, I didn't call you. I love you. Before I start torquing these bolts down, one last tip. You're gonna need an extension, 3/8 extension, or actually 1/2 inch extension. That's at least 32 inches long. This will make your life a whole lot easier when you're trying to get to the top 8 17mm bolts that sit on the top of the bell housing. I have this extra long one, but if you don't have one of these, you can probably get away with 3 or 4 of these. These are from Harbor Freight. Make sure you get the locking kind so they don't fall apart on you when you're up there trying to, like, you know, loosen and tighten and torque down or whatever. So, all right, let's go torque these bolts down. welcome back. It's another day, and I finally decided how I'm gonna mount this thing. Actually, I got the idea from Alvin from Infiniti Brothers. Like I've mentioned him before in the other part 1. So what I have to do here is drill, because the transmission sits more this way now. I need to drill 2 new holes, like an inch this way. So that should give me what I need. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want to be able to reuse my torque solution rear transmission mount, which is made out of really strong, I believe it's polyurethane. If you look at this one, you can see how easily this one wiggles. I think you can see how I can flex that real easy. And this one, nothing at all. So I want to be able to reuse that. Now, I did mount the one that came with the VR. Let me get some light. The one that came with the VR transmission, I was able to mount it. I was able to reuse 2 of the existing holes at the front, and these back ones I used rivet nuts. So I bought a rivet kit. So this works. If you want to do it this way, you can. If you want to buy a rivet nut kit, you can use that. It works fine, but the transmission, the rear transmission mount, is way different than the one in the G. So again, I want to be able to use that torque solution one. All right, the G rear trans brackets on. See, that's the rivet thing that I was talking about earlier. So anyways, they can stay there. So from the G, using the existing 2 mounting locations on each side. And here's what had to be done for this guy. See how I had to drill the hole towards the back of the transmission, or the back of the car, I mean. Towards the back to the differential, let's say it like that. So took a lot of drilling, takes a lot of work. Make sure you have the right drill bit for metal. So I have the rear bolts in. I put some blue Loctite on them, and I decided to torque down to OE specifications, which is 50 foot-pounds, 54 foot-pounds. So I'll put that up on the screen. But things that you may need, if you're gonna use the torque wrench, like a 3/8 torque wrench and a regular socket, like this socket, it's not gonna work in here. So luckily I had a set of, I think they call these crow feet or crow foots kits. And for here, you're gonna need a 17 millimeter, and back here you're gonna need a 19. Luckily I had both. And for here, you're gonna need this Allen wrench. It's a 10 millimeter. So that's that. These are down, they're good. Hopefully, now if they come loose, then I know that I gotta torque down a little tighter than 54 foot-pounds. Now the shifter, not cable, but the shifter linkage rod, whatever you want to call this thing, got this in. This side over here was a little tricky because it's kind of hard to get your hands in there, but it's better when you have it in park and you come in through the top, especially when you're putting this little pin back in. But this is from the VR30, and it fits perfectly. It's perfectly aligned, and I didn't have to modify this at all. Okay, you ready for the most important tip of the day? So go get your notepad, pencil, or get your mental note going, I'm about to show you why. Okay, ready? Repeat after me. Zip ties are your best friend. Let me show you why. So in the G37 bell housing right here, there's actually 4 threaded, I don't even know what you call those inserts that are built into the bell housing. And there's 2 for this bracket for the downstream O2 sensors. And then there's 2 for that transmission bracket that comes out to about here for like the test pipes, for the OEM test pipes. And there's some aftermarket test pipes that have that bracket. But anyways, so because this one doesn't have that, unfortunately I had to use a crap ton of zip ties that are coming from, flip this guy around, are coming from like way up there from a bracket down to here, and it's pulling this bracket that way, up that way. And I think I have everything like as clean as possible, and everything's above this cross brace right here, so hopefully nothing will get snagged on it. I mean, something still could, but you know, really nothing else I can do at this point. This bracket, or these 2 transmission lines, I got the those new I think they're copper crush washers. There's 2 on each one. So I got this from the dealer. I'll try to put all of the parts that I got from the dealership up there. That includes the pan gasket for the transmission. And I'll put the torque specs for those 2 bolts up on the screen now. And this would be a good time for you to pause if you want to get that. Same thing with the oil pan gasket. There's a specific order you put the bolts in. I'll put that on the screen now with the torque specs. Everything else, I guess all I have left is that that cover, that aluminum cover that's there, so that you can time down those the torque converter bolts. All right, so here's where I'm at with this. I unbolted the power steering power steering cooler, and because I need to be able to put this bracket back here, right? So now I gotta figure out how I'm gonna mount this back up here. Okay, I'm actually pretty darn proud of this work, if I do say so myself. Everything's spaced perfectly. I have a nice shim here. I have it spaced and shimmed here, and I have it spaced and shimmed right here. So now this thing sits like if it's OEM with this. Obviously I still have to figure out how to support this better, because you know it's not gonna go anywhere, but I don't want it wobbling around. And if you look here, it's not touching the power steering cooler. It's not touching this one's gonna be the transmission cooler. But look at the differences between this one and this little rinky-dink one. So this one's going in the trash. Screw you, Rev 9. And now I gotta put the other one here. I know this one's gonna be easier because there's nothing in front of it. Take that bracket off. So that rivet nut kit that I got actually came in handy, because it comes with different sizes, and this one was perfect. And it's the same thread as the two that were here that I had left over, and now they're gonna be useful over here. So pretty cool. And there it is, starting to look like something. That looks pretty nice. Woo, almost there, getting there. Bumper, I have the crash bar and that foam pad thing in there. I still have to come back around and tying these lines up here, but I think I have everything in where I like it. These lines are coming down and around up here. The only thing I'm iffy on is the wheel gonna rub on it? Hopefully not. But oil coolers in, the sandwich plate, the oil filter, those are already good. So here's what I'm working on the other side. God, this is taking so much time. Cutting, measuring, trying to get everything to fit. So one of the lines is coming from up there through here, and this top one. All right, so this one is the one that goes up into the radiator, the cooler, the transmission cooler that's built into the radiator. So this one goes up, so I reconnected that one. This is the drain. This is the one that comes back, and it would go here and back to the trans, but what I want to do is make this one come down and go into the oil cooler at the front. So what you're gonna need is obviously I still have to add a hose here. So from here it's gonna be a hose. The other end is gonna go into this one right here. And I'll put this is a 10 AN with what do they call these? I can't remember right now, but they have these like I think it's barb, push barb at the end of it. So then this one will have a hose to it, and then the other end will connect to here. And I'll do the same thing to the one up there, and that's the return one up here. And then they'll connect from there to here and then back into the transmission. At least that's the theory. Holy moly, I think I'm actually done. All the lines are connected. Well, I gotta time these guys. I can do that later. I finally got these guys in. So here's what I was showing you guys. This one is the one that goes up towards the transmission cooler that's in the radiator. Then it works its way back down this one. So this is the return. So instead of going back to the line here, back to the transmission, that's this guy. I'm having it go back up this way into the here, down through the cooler, back out this way, and finally to this guy right here. Actually, wait, so now I'm confused because I've been doing this all day. So let me come back and figure this out. Okay, brain fart. It's been a long day. All right, so from the trans, up the radiator, back down, through the cooler, built into the radiator, into this guy, back up to the oil cooler up top at the front, and the return line is this guy here. back through here, and back going towards the transmission. So at least that's how I see it working in my head, but we'll see. Okay, for this next step, we need to loosen this guy up. This is your fill. This is your drain right here. This is your fill. And what you're gonna need is you're gonna need one of these pumps that fit these 1 quart. You can see that unit. One of these pumps that fit these 1 quart transmission bottles. And we're gonna pump 3 quarts into this. First thing I want to do, let's see if there's any weird codes. Nothing so far. Reverse neutral. 5. I see the wheels spin. Just had I had a little freak out moment because I didn't see the wheels turning when I put it into gear, and I'll tell you why in a second. So there's proof. Wheels are turning. So what happened? And I freaked out. So this transmission has been draining for days, probably a week or two, maybe even more. So there was absolutely zero fluid in there. So when I went to put 3 quarts in it, it just wasn't enough. Now I've added 5. So now it's, you know, it's still not draining out from the fill hole, which is what's supposed to happen when it's completely full. But I might not even have to do drain and refill on this one. But let me go see if any of the lines are leaking. But the car's running. I see no lights, any weird check engine or AT light or anything. But let's not call this 100% yet. So this is the oil cooler. I definitely feel oil going through it because these lines are hot. This lines, they're the transmission ones. They don't feel that hot, obviously. It takes longer for these to reach temperature because they have to you have to drive it, right? So that's the YouTube video that I was talking about. That's what you're gonna want to go watch. Dude's channel is Zilla Full Boost. Follow his directions because I was trying to do it by memory and I completely forgot and I messed up. So it's not 140 degrees, it's 104 degrees. But anyway, so finally got some fluid to come out of this thing and it's super clean. So I think I'm just gonna fill it up with 3 more quarts once that stops dripping, and that should be it. And I'll wait until it's at 104 degrees, check to make sure that I have a little drip coming from the fill hole, and it should be good to go around the block at least. So I'll be back. Here's where I'm at. Gotta be careful not to get burned in the socks. So I did the 3 quarts, and just tip if you're doing this, The first time, I would recommend you go 6 quarts, drain, and then refill with 3. And while you're doing that, you do not have to take this off. I kept doing that. I could have left it on. So I have the 3 quarts in there now, and I have this one here on standby for when I go to remove this after the pan reaches 104 degrees. So there it is, 109, so we should be good now. Drift, so it needs more. There it is. Starting to get worried. Here, I'm just gonna go around the neighborhood a couple blocks and then come back to check for any leaks. Test. No leaks. Alright, let's leave it in D mode. See how it does here. I'm gonna go a little further. Maybe not in the main street yet, because if I break down, I'd rather break down here. So we have a coolant temperature at 199, engine oil temp 167. That's pretty good, actually. Everything else, AFRs look cool for now. Interior temperature. It's a nice day today, so let's see what the temperature. It's 90 degrees, so yeah, that's gonna be low. Okay, well, I know first and second work. Check the fluids again. But yeah, it feels a little jerky. Alright, so because trying to drive with the GoPro in your hand is not the smartest idea. You guys are on sunroof cam now. So like I was saying earlier about the jerky, feeling a little bit of jerkiness, I think it's either one, because now I have this new transmission cooler. It takes a little longer for the transmission to warm up, because now that I'm driving, it's feeling a little better now that I've driven it a little bit. Or two, the transmission I got wasn't all that great condition. For me, that was the scariest part about this whole thing, not the actual job, because I was pretty sure that I was going to be able to do the job. I was pretty certain that I could do it. My fear was, am I going to get a good VR30 transmission? That was half throttle. R92 coolant, engine oil temperature 189, intake air temperature is 102, which is normal with the temperatures outside being 94. Still no DTCs. I think that BCM was the tire pressure, low tire pressure that it used to be. I'm trying to concentrate on everything right now, so if I don't seem like I'm not here, it's because I'm here with the car. So let's see. Let's give it the real beans right now. Okay. Fuck yeah. Woo! Oh, you know what? I gotta switch back. Crazy to think about everything that I went through to get to this point. All those hot days in the garage, working under the car, crawling in under the car, crawling out of the car. I must have done that I don't know how many times. It's so crazy to think back to those days and now me driving this now. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna drive back to my house, look one last time, and come back for one last I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm just so glad this is over. Well, it kinda is almost over. I still have to put the car back together. I'll probably do that this weekend. Just the fact knowing that it's drivable, for now at least, feels good. Woo! Alright, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I went to go look again, and so far, looks dry. I think I've noticed some areas that are a little wet, but I know that's because I didn't clean them very well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean them and make sure. I kind of messed up down. I shifted too fast. Let's do it again. I don't know if you can hear how quickly it's accelerating through gears. I don't know if it's a combination between the driveshaft and the transmission. But anyways, I think this is a good place to end the video. I will be doing a follow-up very soon. Like a cost, like what it cost me to do all of this, the parts you're gonna need, their reliability. We'll see if I'm happy with it in the long run. But again, so crazy. Everything I just did by myself in the garage, in my own garage. This is something that anybody can do. You just have to have the right tools, the confidence, the right frame of mind. And woo, I just took a deep breath. It feels so good. Feels so good, so relieved. Getting to drive this again, getting this big ass job out of the way, and looking forward to the next adventure. But anyways, if you made it this far, I think this video is gonna be super long. I haven't even looked to see how long it's gonna be, but it's gonna be a long one. So if you stuck through all the way to the end, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe. If you're, like I said, I have many other install videos coming for this car. I'm gonna do the reveal video for that other car I just got, and my plans are what I'm gonna be doing to that car. But again, thanks again. Take care. See you next time.